What's up, guys? This is your boy Ted, the review guy, and today I'll be reviewing Mulan live action movie. It's streaming right now on Disney Plus, so you can go watch it there. You pay for it, and if you don't want to pay for it, you have to wait for December 4th, I think. Yeah. So I had a lot of expectations going into the movie, and have been waiting for it for quite a while since it was announced. At first, when it was announced, I thought it was going to be the same as the other live action Disney movies that they remade. But this one took a turn. It didn't really make it as close as possible to the animated movie. It was more of the history of Mulan, or Hua Mulan. They changed a few things, like from Fa family to Hua family instead. And yeah, if you went into this movie trying to compare the two, you might be disappointed or not, because there's a lot of elements that were fun in the movie that were scraped off. So like the songs, Mushu, yeah, stuff like that. So yeah, let's get into the review. Sorry, I was just rambling there. So the movie starts with them showing us a young girl, Mulan, who's very adventurous, very active, and is very close to her father. And we see that her father kind of had this idea that those type of qualities that exist in Mulan would only exist in a boy, but he has a daughter instead. So yeah, in his monologue, I guess, or narration of his life living with such an adventurous and active young girl, is what yeah, he just shows us what his thoughts are on that whole thing, and obviously is influenced by his society. And then we see how her mother wants her to be the girl that a wife that will bring honor to the family, as we see her being introduced, being changed into the girl to a young woman who will be accepted by the matchmaker because of her qualities and all of that stuff. As Mulan being Mulan, she ends up messing up that whole process of the matchmaking thing. And yeah, and then after that we see the invasion of China by the Northerners, I think. Yeah, those are the ones that replaces the Hans. Yeah, the Hans from the animated movie. I'm gonna be comparing the movie a lot from the animated movie, and basically just say those little things that they changed and all of that stuff, and things that I like that they did in this movie, and things that I might have wanted that they kept from the animated movie. Anyway, so yeah, we meet their accomplice, who is a witch, who's also on a journey that's the same as Mulan, as we see later on in the movie. And I like the idea that they brought that symbol where they show Mulan leaving her comb, to symbolize that she's fine, she's going on her own accord to replace her father into the war to fight for the emperor. And I like that part because it's very key to the Chinese culture as well. So I think a lot of problems that they had with the animated movie is that it was too westernized, so they tried to bring it as close to the Chinese culture as possible. And so the leader of the Northerners is Bori Khan, and they are trying to take over basically and live in their own rules. So that's their journey in causing havoc everywhere, and that's why soldiers were called from their families or men. And then we see Mulan pretends to be a guy and joining the emperor's army, and that's where we meet Cricket, who was substituted for the Cricket, the Lucky Charm Cricket. And we see her meeting up with Chan, and they have a rivalry type of thing. So we see that play out in the movie, and how they were rivals, and they become closer and closer together. There were funny moments when Mulan was not showering because she was scared she would be found out, and she was basically just stinking on throughout that time in the camp, training, sleeping, being on guard, and all of that stuff. So she wasn't taking a shower. That was a nice thing to add on the whole thing. And then another thing, there were values that were mentioned that were supposed to be followed by the soldiers, and that's courage, loyalty, and truth. And we see that when the soldiers were saying their oath, Mulan, the first time they had to say it, Mulan didn't say the truth part because she wasn't her true self. She was playing Huajin. Yeah, I'm probably butchering the name, but yes, she was playing Huajin. She was not herself, so she didn't say the word true in those vows. And then we see that her trying to confess all of that, but couldn't, and also because she has such a high chi, and that was the adventurous stuff that I talked about earlier. Her chi is so high, she ended up sort of exposing herself and being recognized by the commander. And the commander was so taken by him, Mulan, in how she was, that he was so impressed that he wanted to introduce him to his daughter for the matchmaking thing. So I guess she convinced them so well, because those qualities also, again, they are seen as only manly qualities. And we see her describing a woman that she would be attracted to. Well, she was basically describing herself, but men took those qualities as only manly qualities. And we see her going when they went to fight after the Northerners and killed everyone and all of that stuff. The witch has cool powers where she shapeshifts basically. So yeah, I like that. And we see her when they were fighting the Northerners. She races and tries to fight the witch all by herself, but the witch kind of can sense that she is not who she pretends to be, basically. And then she kills Huajin to give rise to Hua Mulan in the movie. And we see that with her saying now, adding to those values, the word that she never said, which is true, when she becomes herself and comes back to save the Emperor's soldiers. I like that a lot, when she becomes who she needs to be. There was a bit of a weird timing thing there, where Mulan was so quick that she was able to set up a whole diversion type thing, and while they were prepping one shooting thing, like, that was just so quick. I don't know, it was just weird. But yeah, she managed to fool them and try to save her soldiers on the other side. And it was just incredible seeing that. And they also introduced that whole scene where the snow avalanche kills all the soldiers and stuff, and then we find out that was just a distraction. Khan already went to the city to invade it, and Mulan reveals herself to her soldiers, and they don't believe what she has to say when she reveals that the attack right now that they just fought was just a distraction. But eventually they come to her side, and they make her lead them, and then she leads them to go fight the Northerners in the Emperor's thing. And I like that the Emperor was more active in this movie. He was able to fight and everything, but he got being caught, we see Mulan fighting Khan and defeating him with her chi, and she was so impressive that the emperor added her, like, because of, okay, she was so impressive that the emperor offered her a job basically to be the emperor's guard, um, and be a top officer there. But because she was so devoted in to her family, she did this for her family, not for herself, not to prove anything to anyone, but basically for her family, for her father to be safe instead. And she knew she kind of had all it takes to be a warrior, even though she was told she needed to suppress it, which is a lot, which reflects a lot with how women are treated in the world right now, or any since the beginning of time basically. And I like that she became herself, her true self, at the end, and she didn't really need to hide or pretend to be someone else. She just like became a warrior. And yeah, I I don't class Mulan as a Disney princess. I think she is a warrior. If there's a list of Disney warriors, she is like probably the top one there. But yeah, I don't know why I even put her in the list of Disney princesses, because even in the first one she wasn't a princess. But yeah, I enjoyed the movie very much compared to the animated movie. I enjoyed this one more, even though there's some elements that I enjoyed more in the animated movie because it's an animated movie, like the songs, and the role of Mushu. Oh yeah, Mushu was replaced by the Phoenix. That was a symbol of the Hua family. And yeah, the granny was also removed from there. She was not part of the whole movie. And yeah, I enjoyed it in such a way that I have watched it 3 times now since it came out. And yeah, guys, like, tell me what you thought of the movie. And yeah, I hope you like, share, and subscribe, and you comment, and we can talk about the movie. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next